Some of you seen in the chat, like Kevin, Jersey, met you guys before. It's good seeing you guys in here. For those of you that are new, my name's Aaron Albright, with the training at Tech College for LG, and what we're going to go over today is the WM6998 all-in-one combo washer. Just letting you guys know, this is recording, so that's why everybody's coming in muted. If everybody was unmuted, it would kind of go between active speakers and throw off some of the cameras. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type into the chat. I've got another trainer with me, Christopher Bottom, who will be manning the cameras and kind of monitoring chat as we go. So if it's something that we need to address with everybody, we'll stop, take a second to go over that question. But if it's something that we can just touch with you on an individual basis, we will do so in the chat. So without further ado, we're going to hop into the presentation. So just some of the disclaimers. Just know that when we're going through everything, just know that you're working with live electricity. You're going to be having those issues with needing to get in there. So just make sure that when you are getting into the unit that you do have everything unplugged. There's live wires. We don't want you guys getting hurt. So just any grounding straps, anything that needs to be connected or disconnected, make sure everything is getting back to the way it needs to be whenever you're putting everything back together for safety purposes. Just some of the overview of what we're going to go over today. So there's going to be some features, installation, there will be maintenance, controls, test modes. A lot of this stuff is going to be, we'll actually do some live hands-on with everything. So we'll touch on everything we need to within the presentation and kind of pan between cameras when we get to something that's going to require some hands-on. So starting with some of the features that we have on this, you will notice that we have the premium, the digital knob display. I know other front load washers that we have, like the WM4200, have this knob display, so it's nothing that's necessarily new, but it was something that was implemented onto this unit for ease of access. Looks really nice, easy to operate with. One of the major things is it's an all-in-one. It's a washer and a dryer combo. So with that, it does take up a lot less space versus having a separate dryer that's going to take up twice as much space. So really, really good energy saver and a space saver as well. Is ventless, like I said, so with that we're not requiring as much energy to push that air out. We're not having that issue of needing to consume more energy than not, while also avoiding the whole fact of having to clear out vents within the home. A lot of those drying problems that we have are clogged up vents. When we have those clogged up vents, we start having those drying issues, and that's just something that's going to be eliminated with this. There's nothing that needs to be cleaned with the customer's home. It's all just maintenance that's within the unit. Cleaning those lint filters, making sure the drain pump, everything's cleaned out, which we'll go over. It does have the TurboWash 360, for those of you that have not heard of it. What that is, we've had 3 different styles. The TurboWash 1.0, which was just twin spray and some atomizing water. Then we went to a TurboWash 2.0, which was where we added that dual spray, the twin spray, with centrifugal motion to help assist break things free. The newer style is actually got 4 sprayers, so we have multi-spraying. It also has that the atomizing, so the top spray, while also utilizing centrifugal motion to allow that water to penetrate really good through those clothing and break everything free within a short period of time. So as you can see on there, we went from being a load size of 8 pounds at 39 minutes from 1.0 to now with the TurboWash 360 being a 29-minute cycle and having a 10-pound load. So by allowing that water to shoot on through and penetrate with more sprayers and that centrifugal motion, larger load size, less time. We do have AI, or the artificial intelligence 2.0 on here. So what that is, it senses load weight and fabric type while also utilizing soil level. On this unit, there's a turbidity sensor, an IR sensor that's working together to detect that fabric size, or type, load size, the soil level of the water, and adjust those times. This unit also, as you can see down there, it has the easy dispense for the AI wash. With the AI 2.0, we are able to put the amount of soap that that particular cycle needs. So we're not overusing soap for a particular load, which is another really good thing. The easy dispense itself is a little bit different on this unit versus a standard easy dispense. Your standard easy dispense would have a detergent reservoir and a softener reservoir. With that, you're kind of limited down to only being able to utilize 18 loads per tank. With this unit, you can actually take both the detergent dispenser and the softener dispenser and link them so you have an additional detergent amount. So that's where we get the 31 times. So as you can see, there's 18 loads for the typical dispenser, and then when we expand the detergent box, it adds that extra load amount for detergent. And I will show you how to link tanks and do all that hands-on. Last but not least, thank you. So there's still energy monitoring. The biggest thing with this is you need to utilize it with the 2.4 megahertz. I know in the customer's homes there's going to be the ability, usually the ability to have that 5G network or the 2.5 megahertz network. Make sure you're utilizing 2.4 to actually be able to allow this to run properly. If you do select it on the 5G, sometimes it'll connect, but it won't actually allow you to utilize ThinQ. In some cases, it just won't connect. So the biggest thing is make sure that when you go in, if somebody says that their ThinQ is not working, that it's connected to the correct network. You can utilize the remote start. There's additional cycles. There's downloaded cycles that you can download off the app and implement it into the programming of the WM6998. It's just like that on our top load washers and our front load washers as well. The tub clean coach, it will run after about 30 cycles and tell you, hey, it's time to clean your tub. We've got smart diagnosis to allow the customer to be able to get that knowledge of, hey, this is what's going on, while also allowing our PCC, our proactive customer care, to try to assist before sending you, the technician, out. There's push alerts allowing you to know, hey, my cycle's done. I need to go in there and change stuff out. And one thing that's a little bit different about this unit is being able to customize your machine. So there's the ability to go on, when you turn on the unit, it'll tell you hello, and it'll have what we call a splash screen. You can go on there and actually change the emblems and kind of customize it to you. While also the chimes that play at the end of cycles, you can adjust those as well and play like Mozart or play some other type of music. So that can all be switched up on that ThinQ app. So kind of getting into the nitty gritty. We're getting into the installation. Kind of getting into the home is one of the first things you're going to want to check. It's pretty well just like a front load washer, honestly. Getting into it, one thing that is different about this, it does need to be in between a 41 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit area, and you're working with the compressor for the heat pump. That compressor has that parameters that it can and cannot work within, so we need to make sure that it's within that temperature range. Ensure that the flooring is solid, that there's not a floor slope that exceeds 1 inch. Also, the whole power outlet being on 60 inches of either side. Don't want to run these things on extension cords, so if it gets to where it's extended too far, it can start throwing issues. We want to remove our shipping bolts. The water PSI and temperature standards have not changed with the 20 to 120 PSI and the 120 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And still with these, we do not want to use the flood preventing hoses or the flood safe hoses. The way that these valves open and close, that pressure change can cause those to trip, and next thing you know, we're not getting any water and we're getting inlet error saying that we don't have any incoming water. Drainage requirements. So usually they have that set the standpipe. Those need to be between 24 to 96 inches or 2 to 8 feet. Just know that when it hits about 66 inches high, that draining will begin to work harder. It can take longer for draining, so it may not get all the water out of there if you do have a larger size load. So really ideally about 24 inches around there is a normal standpipe height. And then with this, make sure that the drain line is only inserted 4 inches into the standpipe. We don't want it too far down, so we are causing siphoning and allowing that water to essentially just go out as soon as it is being put into the unit. And make sure that that's secured with a zip tie so that the vibrations don't allow that to fall out and get water everywhere. And lastly, just ensure that the legs are leveled. There is a locking nut that's on there. Just make sure that that's secured to the bottom of the cabinet after you get those height adjustments made so that leg does not work its way back up into the cabinet once we get into normal operations. Okay, so now we're going to switch over with our cameras, get into some maintenance here. Okay, so for maintenance on this, we have got a filter up top for the dryer. In order to properly maintain this, there's actually a service bulletin on this as well that we will go over at the end of the presentation. But they have redesigned this to allow this to kind of sit in here properly. We're having some problems with not putting this filter back together properly. It would fall down and allow this to catch, and you couldn't get this filter out. But for maintenance portions of this, like I showed, to remove, we'll put our hand in, it pulls right out. All you have to do is pull to separate, and your filter will come right off of there. One thing I want to point out is your filter has a little rubber gasket that goes right through here. When you're taking that off, this is going to allow to pull the lint out, so there's going to be a little less cleaning on here. There may still be some residual that's left on here, and over time you may also get this to where it's going to get coated with just nasty debris that's going to be lodged within the mesh filter. What you can do is run it under some warm water, take yourself a nylon brush, just clean that off just like a normal dryer filter. After that, it's just a matter of reassembling. It fits right into a track, so there's really no way to not get it in properly, but we can make anything happen. So just line that back up, it pushes and clicks right in place. So the next thing that I want to show, we did have a bulletin as well for a new fine filter that's going to be in. It's magnetic. The original grate that was on there would allow more lint to get to that condenser area, and it would clog up more, resulting in longer dry times. So they designed a magnetic filter that the customer can remove and clean that filter while also being able to access the condenser fins and clean those out as well. So in order to change this out, the whole kit will come with the instructions on how to change it out. It's going to come with a sticker that they're wanting you to place next to the filter area Part of the instructions just showing them how to properly clean that. It's going to come with a nylon brush, so whenever they remove that magnetic filter, they can clean the condenser fins with this. It's also going to come with your filter, and it's also going to come with the housing that we're going to replace as well. It'll come with a couple new screws and a couple new little screw covers. This unit has been worked on before, so all of our little tiny stickers that go over each of these screws for cosmetic are off of there. But whenever they are needing to change this out, if their unit does not already have it, you're going to remove this screw right over the top here. Set that aside. And this is what the old grate will look like. At this point, when we're going through, the customer can get in here with their nylon brush and actually get into the condenser fins and break that down and allow that to clean so that we can get airflow through there properly. Now, as you can see with the other filter, or the other grate versus this, we're going to make this where it's going to be an open setting so that whenever we do take the filter out, that customer still has access into that area. So taking it out or putting it back in is the same as taking this out. We just line that up, push that in place, and put our screw back. Like I said, the kit itself will come with the new stickers, so you're not going to reuse those old stickers that the unit had prior. So just make sure that in the little baggie you take out the sticker and place it back over the screw. After that, we can just put this right in here. And we now have a removable filter. So when it comes to maintenance wise, customer can just pull that out, clean their fins out. This also separates, so if any lint, anything builds up on here, they can run that under their water, the warm water, and then also clean that. The other things that we're going to want to do, of course, maintenance wise, is leaving our door open, let it stay cracked after the cycle. We're also going to want to do our drain pump cleanouts. So just a standard drain pump cleanout, just like a normal front load washer. You're going to have your hose to let your water out that's going to be left, and just a standard filter on here as well. Recommend just running it under some warm water. You can use your brush to clean that out, and everything will be good for maintenance off of there. The next thing is we have the easy dispense. There is a cleaning for that as well that is implemented on the unit. So to do the easy dispense clean, you're going to remove your dispenser. These little reservoirs, they actually just pull right on out. So per the instructions, what you're going to do is you're going to open this. You're going to fill this with water. Make sure that you're getting any detergent buildup, or if you're working with the softener, make sure you're getting that softener buildup out of there and clear that out. Once you get it good and clean, you're going to fill this back up with water completely and close it back up, and we'll reinsert with those reservoirs full of water. So the next thing that we have to do is actually go into our settings. We have a setting that's called Easy Dispense Nozzle Clean. So turning it on, we'll go through our options. You got to click the check mark a couple times. It's going to tell you to check your filter and so on and so forth. This Easy Dispense cycle itself is about a 15-minute cycle. So it doesn't take too long, and it makes sure that those nozzles get all good and clean. So what we'll do to get into this is click our options button. We're going to do a couple back clicks on the knob, go to our additional settings, and then we're going to go a couple back twists as well on here until we see our easy dispense nozzle clean. After we do that, we'll click the check mark. In here, it's going to ask you if you want to utilize or if you just want to clean your detergent tank, or if you just want to clean your softener tank, or if you want to do both. In this case, we'll just click the both. After that, it'll tell you exactly what I just told you. It'll tell you clean both your tanks, fill them with water, insert this, and then press the check mark. Once you press the check mark, it'll go in. Oh, it's a 21-minute cycle on this one with both tanks. A singular tank is going to be 15 minutes. So that's how you access. What that's going to do is spray your water in, make sure that this nozzle that's on the back side of your easy dispense detergent dispenser is going to be cleaned. The next thing I want to show you is just accessing the tub clean. Accessing tub clean is not terrible at all. It's actually just right on the main knob. So one thing with this, once it turns on, just do one back click and you'll be right at tub clean. So why I say that it's right on the knob. One thing that's really cool about this unit is you can customize what cycles are actually on here. There's an ability to add and delete your cycles. Your tub clean and your normal cycles are not able to be removed from this initial list. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to actually add and delete. So right now we're going to click on our options button. We'll go through this whole thing we went before. And we're going to do our back clicks again. So we see cycle list. As you can see right now, it says that we have 16 cycles selected. All we have to do is click our check mark. We'll go right into there, and that's just telling you, hey, here's how you select and deselect, and whenever you press your back button is when it actually saves those changes. So scrolling through your menu, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but normal is a little bit darker of a blue, just showing that that can't be adjusted, and then it also takes away that check mark, as you can see. It does that for the normal, and the tub clean as well, like I said. So in order to remove, all we have to do is go to a cycle. We'll just say delicate dry, and we'll take away perm press. Dry as well. So we deselected those. In order to save it, we click our back button. It'll tell you that the cycle list is saving. And now it says 14 cycles. Remember, we had 16 cycles before. So now if we go back to our main menu, we won't see that delicate dry cycle. We won't see that perm press dry cycle anymore. So the customer can kind of customize it to what they want, instead of having a bunch of extra cycles in there that they don't necessarily use all the time. Another thing that's really cool about it as well is cycle optimization. So cycle optimization, you're going to go into your options, you're going to go to your additional settings, and really all you're able to do there is just determine whether it's on or off. So what cycle optimization is, it's essentially the AI in the unit tailoring the cycles to the customer. After 3 consecutive cycles, it will get those common features. It will get everything that the customer has done with their load size, the water level or the water temperature, the spin speeds, and it ties those in so the customer doesn't have to go in and change that. But it has to be consecutive 3 times in order to register that in. Another thing that it does too is in your cycle list, it will pull those commonly used cycles to the front of the list. So they don't have to say it was number 14. They don't have to scroll to the end of the list in order to get to that cycle. It'll be right up front. If they turn that off, how it's listed in the unit is how that cycle list is always going to stay. It won't be tailored to them. It'll just be like selecting a normal cycle. One question that we have a lot on these is changing dry settings. So what we'll do now is we're going to go through our menu until we get to the dry only setting. So when we get to dry only setting, you'll have your dry button that's illuminated over here. On this, you can determine essentially soil level or your dampness level. So there'll be damp, there'll be energy saver. And this is where you're also going to utilize time dry as well. And you can go from 30, 60, 90 to 120 minutes. So that's how we're accessing our time dry on these units. It's not clicking any of the other modifiers to adjust that time. You're solely going to go to a dry only and then click your dry button until you get those settings. With the easy dispense, so it will come for the detergent, it'll be 1.5 ounces. That is the set parameter that comes as the default. So 1.5 for detergent and 1.0 ounces for softener. You can go in and change the amount that's coming in. It's just a matter of going to our options. So we'll go to options and scroll down until we see detergent level and softener level. That's going to allow the amount of more or less that's going to come into the cycle. But what we're going to want to do is actually go to our additional settings. And this is where we're going to change our default settings to how much is actually going to come out. So don't get those two confused. The one where you're actually going to change the amount coming out of here is in additional settings. It's just as simple as clicking our check mark. You can go anywhere between 0.3 ounces to 4 ounces. So, and that is for both the detergent dispenser and the water softener, or sorry, fabric softener. And it's just as simple as, you know, say that we want to switch it to a half an ounce, we'll click OK, and it adjusts it on the screen. Another thing, like I said, we do have those individual default, the softener and the detergent, but we can make this whole easy dispense section a water or a detergent area. So within those additional settings, the softener tank use, all we do is click on here. Right now we have our softener dispenser set to softener. If we go to link tanks and click OK, that makes this whole easy dispense area all one big detergent dispenser. So the customer can fill up the detergent on both sides, and that's where they're going to get those 31 loads of usage out of the detergent. Okay. So next what we're going to get into is some of the diagnosis. I have a couple things to show within PowerPoint here real quick. So diagnostic-wise, there's the ability to see the error codes on here, not like your typical error codes. You're not going to have like an IE or an OE or any sort of DE. It's going to specifically lay out, hey, this is what your problem is. So if you have a water supply, it's going to say water supply. If you have a pressure switch error, it's not going to say PE, it'll say pressure sensor. So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of decipher those codes. You can also go to our website, it's lgrepair.com. There is a error code link, which is what we're showing to the right with all those charts. You can go through those error codes and get diagnostic help, help determine your root cause and figure everything out off of there. We just pulled some snippets from there. On this unit, there's two different kind of diagnostic modes. There's an LQC mode, which is a normal test mode like we see on any of our dryers or any of our washers. But there's also a data view mode where you can see live data that's happening with sensors going through in a actual running cycle. So I'll show you on here and then I'll show you in person. But getting into our diagnostic mode is as simple as the spin and soil and then pressure power, and I'll get into that normal LQC mode. That's what we're looking at for the display. So when you see the number up top, that is what actual cycle setting you are on for that particular test. And then the number below that's being displayed is the value of what test you are doing. So in that example, that's just showing water level at 255, and then that will lower as that water fills. So there's the 14 presses on there. There's 17 steps. So just kind of mess with that. I'll show you, kind of walk through as well. Now here's the diagnostic data view. So this is ran in an actual cycle. So while there's an actual cycle, we'll press soil and delay start and hold that until we hear a chime. This one's viewing is kind of weird because our numbers are actually overlaying the display. So just allow that to run and do its thing. You can scroll through. Really the two numbers that we mainly pay attention in this whole data view is 27, which is our duct out temperature. It's what temperature we're going to be showing for our drying. And then our compressor hertz, to make sure that compressor is actually doing what it needs to. One thing that's weird about these units as well is the fact that, say that you are doing a test and you needed to stop the unit, since this is a BLDC compressor, when you do start these units back up, there is going to be a delay that compressor will turn on. So if you're doing in this data view mode and you do check your compressor hertz, you see it's 60, you turn this thing back on or off and then turn it back on and try to run it again. If you get into data view mode, it's going to take a few minutes for that to actually kick on, so don't be afraid if you see that value not changing from 0 to 60. So what we're going to do now is go back over to the unit. I'll show you how to get into the data view mode and into our diagnostic mode. So for the sake of seeing where our buttons are at right now, because as soon as we shut this off, you're not going to see anything. Remember, to get into our diagnostic mode, it's going to be our spin and soil and then power. So what we'll do is we're going to shut this off, get our fingers lined up. So we're going to do spin and soil and then power. It's going to show all of our stuff just like a normal LQC mode that we've all went through before. If you have not, that's fine. We're about to go through it. To advance, it's just pressing the power button. We see the red, the green, the blue. That's just a display testing. And it's just a matter of going through all of our settings until we get to the part that we need. This is going to check your spin speeds. If there's water connected, it'll check your incoming water. So that's going to be checking your pressure switches. That'll check your drain pumps, and this goes into even checking your dryer function, which is also part of one of the testing that you need to utilize to see if this is going to be operating properly. So we'll just cycle through this until we get to where we need to be. I'll let it stop spinning here real quick. Okay. So like I said, there are 14 clicks, but whenever you're looking, you'll have the top value and there's the bottom value. So on your 14th click, you're actually going to see the number 17. It's different, but yeah, just test mode 17 is actually where our dry function is. Once you get to step 14 on here, which is you're going to have to open up the drawer and close it to stop that. Then what that's going to do is check your whole easy dispense section. So that is one thing that's going to be checked in here as well to make sure that those solenoids are actually doing what they need to do. And like I said, now we're at 17. What this is showing, it's going to run through, it's going to operate our our compressor. It's going to get that going. And then the display that's actually showing is going to be your fan RPMs. And those are usually going to be around 4,000 to 4,100 RPM. So right now it's bouncing back and forth between. So everything's looking absolutely fine with our fan and our heating. After we click it one more time, of course we're not connected to Wi-Fi, so you're going to get an NF error. But once you click it one more time, we'll go to our power and shut it down. So that's our normal test mode. Now we'll get into the data view mode. So it's just power on. We're going to go to a dry only cycle. Okay. So like I said, remember with this, we're going to want to use delay start and soil. The way that I like to remember it, once we start this delay start's going to go away. So just know it lines up with option, and it's about a ½ an inch up. The soil is going to be the same, so we're going to go about a ½ inch up, and it's about halfway through. So once we get to about halfway, that's about where our soil level's at. So what we'll do, we'll start our cycle. Once this goes through its load sensing, it actually starts showing the display of the numbers. That's when we can actually get into our data view mode. So we'll let this get started. Okay. Let me go to here and here. And now it's popped up. Like I said, in order to scroll through this, it's just turning the knob. Two that we mainly focus on are 27 right now, and that's just showing our outlet temperature. So, and it shows it in Celsius. Right now it's 19 Celsius. And you're looking for that increase to make sure that this is actually doing what it needs to, that it's actually is getting hotter. After that, we can go to number 30, and 30 is just showing our compressor hertz, and we're at about 60, 59, 58, so it's within that range that we're needing to be. If you want to keep running your cycle, you can go back over here, do your delay start in your soil, and hold it, and it shuts it right off and shows a normal display. That's data view mode. Really good information. There's not only the duct in, they're duct out, and the compressor running. There's also your evaporators, your ducts. You can get into fan readings. There's a little bit of everything on there to go through. And this can all be viewed on that lgrepair.com as well. So, make our way back over here. Now kind of getting into the mechanicals. The overview, so example on the left is just a standard front load washer. One on the right is what we're working with now, so we just implemented the heat pump drying cycle over into the right. This is just what it's looking like underneath, so we're actually going to get into that here soon. So we have our evaporator, our condenser. There's a water jet that sprays down to help assist clean off that condenser. There's a drain line that's going to run down to your drain pump. We're going to go through with disassembly and show you all this. This is just what the compressor is looking like on the inside. Just know it is rotary style. It is dual inverter compressor, so there's two scrolls in there that are allowing that refrigerant to be displaced at a faster rate, to allow for that heating to take place faster. It is self-contained. This all comes as one assembly, so there's no sealed system that needs to be done. You just change out the entire assembly and you have that all squared away. to limit the refrigeration or the refrigerant going through, we have an LEV or linear expansion valve that's regulating that flow to optimize that performance. Like I said, with the dual scroll compressors, we're able to allow that to run a little bit more efficient, faster, so we can have the ability to slow that down and have more of an efficient drying cycle, or if we did need to speed up the cycle with that dual scroll and the linear expansion valve, we can make our cycles a little bit more fast and get that drying done a little quicker. Essentially the way this is working is we're pulling that warm air and moisture out of our drum, pulling it to the evaporator. It's going to condensate on that evaporator and drip down into our pan. Essentially what we're doing here is drying with a dehumidifier. You're pulling that humidity from one place and draining it out elsewhere. And it'll continue doing that until those clothes are dry. When it is calling for the condenser to be clean, it does spray fresh water over the coil here so that we can spray all that nasty lint, everything out. What it will do is fill up your water and then go through the drain right here down to your drain pump and be drained right out of the unit. There's not anything in there that the customer is going to have to clean other than whenever they are going to remove their magnetic filter and have to manually get lint off of the coils. This is important. The unit won't run if the lint filter is not in there. There is a reed switch on there with a magnet. So if their filter is installed and the lint filter error code's still happening, that magnet could have fallen out. So just inspect. It's right there on that filter. You'll see the little tiny magnet. Just make sure that magnet's within there. This is the fan, so it is a VLDC fan. Like we said, about 4,150 RPMs normal on our display. There's 6 screws and some clamps that are holding that in place. If you're doing your readings, you're going to get about 9.5 to 12 ohms. If you're getting anything out of ordinary there, that fan's going to need to be replaced. Like I said, this is all part of that cycle assembly, so you'd be replacing this out with the new sealed system and everything. And then other than that, there are 5 boards on this unit. So there's 2 up front. There's the main PCB and the heat pump PCB that are right up front when you take the front panel off. There is a motor PCB at the back, and then there's also the noise filter as well. There's the display knob and the display board up top as well. Circuit diagrams, there's really not too much to this. Just know that if there is a sticker on there that's really small, you can scan this QR code that's on the model number, serial number tag, and pull it right up on your phone or your tablet. This is actually what's going to pull up for you to see. If anything, they're also in the service manual, so you can get the service manual going as well and pull up some other diagnostic information as well. So now what we're going to get into is actually disassembling the unit. So to disassemble the unit, in order for us to take the top panel off, we're going to have to take our filter out and take all 6 of these screws out. So we have those 6 screws out. Got that. Take these screws out of the back. That top will pop right up. Now we have access to all of everything that's up here with our filter, our cycle assembly, our easy dispense. There are 2 screws that are within the back that are holding this cycle assembly in place. So yeah, just going to take those out here real quick. So now when we get everything apart, this will be able to pull right on out. So the next thing we'll do, work our way from the front to the back. We are going to want to take off our retainer clip and our gasket. Push this into here. We're going to want to take our drain pump cover off. There is going to be 1 screw. Like I said, this thing's been worked on before, so our screw just so happens to be missing. Just now you are going to take that screw out. And that screw will be right here. After we do that, we're going to take out our dispenser. We'll set that aside. And we'll take our 2 screws out in our dispenser. Next, we will take our 4 screws out up at the top that hold our front panel on. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we have our harness here, and then we have our harness for our door. We can take that off. Go and set this aside. And just for time's sake, I'm actually going to use my drill. I'm going to put it down to a lower setting so we're not doing anything stripping. So what we want to do next, just for some pre-things, we're going to take our drain hose, and there's also a clamp that's going to be holding on our fan assembly. So what we'll do, I'm going to take this clamp off. 1 screw holding that on. Take this clamp off, set it aside, and then down here there will be a clamp that is going to be holding on our hose to the cabinet, just a little retainer clip. And then we're going to take our clamp off of our drain line down here. There's a zip tie that's going to be holding our hose right here, and some other clamps. Ours have been broken off, but this will actually be sitting here. you'll just lift up and pop that out of place. We're going to break our zip tie, and that frees up our drain hose for when we take this off. Next, we want to take off our screws for our front plate. So now we have our screws off for our front plate. Now we'll move here. So there's this bracket that goes across. There's 4 screws, 2 on each side, that we're going to take off. We have 2 grounds. So there's a ground that's attached here and a ground here that's going to need to be removed. After that, we'll disconnect our water valves real quick, just the harnesses, and there is a hose down on the water valve that's going to need to be removed. Grab my needle nose. So that hose is now removed off of our cold water valve. There's going to be 3 harnesses within a bag that need to be taken apart. So we'll separate those. We're going to have the hose here, and then there's a hose that's coming off of here as well that both need to be removed. And after that is everything that should be disconnected other than our reed switch to our filter. After that, we're going to pop our front panel out of its place, grab our filter, or our cycle assembly, sorry, and it lifts right on out of place if the drain hose wasn't caught. But that is removing that cycle assembly. It's nothing too terrible. It seems like a lot. If there's something that wasn't caught a good view, we do have a really good video on our YouTube channel, which we'll put a link to that in the chat for you guys. And if there's any questions, please feel free to let us know. But that is doing the cycle assembly. The last things I need to go over with you real quick are just the couple of service bulletins that we have. So we'll go through here. Share our screen. So service bulletins that we have going on. We have the lint filter, like I said, they have redesigned that lint filter. What was happening is when that went to be inserted, if it wasn't aligned properly, it would drop down. You'd go to try to take that filter out and it would catch. So what they did was redesign it and added this little bump so that whenever if that did not get put together properly and it dropped, this won't allow it to drop as far and get caught. If it does get put in wrong, what you need to do is between your filter, or between the filter and the casing right here, you're going to use a putty knife or a small flathead screwdriver, and you can pop that right out of place. Just know that if you are going on a call for this, I would take this the little cover that we have to remove with the 6 screws on it, just in case that does break while you're trying to get this out as well. But if you get a new filter for that, it will be that new design. The next would be leakage. So there's a hose going from the dispenser to the tub. The orientation of it was wrong. So what they're doing here is just loosen up the screw and make sure that that arrow that's on the hose is touching the dispenser, not turned out to the side. It's turned out to the side, it's rubbing on one of the screws that holds the tub together and wears a hole, and then we start leaking everywhere. Long dry times. This one was a big one. So ThinQ update that we had go through where they would update it through ThinQ. We had some that weren't wanting to update through ThinQ, and you would go through and you would change the main PCB, the display PCB, and the knob PCB to take care of those. Essentially what was happening, just really, really long dry times, like 7-8 hours. Just something weird with the algorithm within the board. So they changed that up and made it to where we're going to work at a faster pace. Won't have those really, really long dry times unless it's something to do with maintenance. Now we're coming in with our filter cleanings, our drain pump cleanings, make sure that it's installed properly. The replacement cover, which is what I showed you personally, it is a bulletin, so if you needed that part number, it is right there if you wanted to take a picture real quick. But these are all bulletins that you guys can get through GSFS. Lint being stuck in the where your air is coming through, make sure that that's getting cleaned as well. But there was a dispenser redesign to allow more water to be sprayed into that area so that we're actually getting clean there. So if you are running into one of these units that was produced before December 2024 and they're complaining that there's a bunch of lint buildup, it's not wanting to dry properly due to that, just know that you're probably going to need to get a new dispenser housing for them and change that out. And then this is for customers. Everything, all those bulletins we just went over are literally compiled into all this. It's all just customer information that you can get. If you want to take a picture of this for that bulletin number as well, just a quick ease of access to that. And it just walks through everything we just went through with the other bulletins. So that is all we have. Are there any questions that you guys may have? How long should it take to dry? It all depends on load size, how long they go. I know per normal cycle, with like an energy saver, they say that that's supposed to take about 2 hours. It also depends with load size as well. That's energy saver on a normal cycle with a 10-pound load is what we specify as a 2-hour dry. Anthony said drying time will drastically depend on load size, recommended load size. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no picture. I have the camera off. I can turn around. But with that, that's everything we have for you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat. If it's anything, we can get to you and reach out to you. That's all we have, guys. Thank you for attending. I really appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day and be safe out there.